Alrighty, boys, it's time for your weekly updates. Alright, what's been going on in Bannerlord? What's been happening? There have been a lot of posts from the developers, and also I have another video coming up sometime this week, probably like 2 days from now, maybe even tomorrow. We'll see how I feel about it. That also talks about a pretty big thread and a lot of changes that are coming to Bannerlord, and actually already came, really. But that's another video for another day. Today we're going to be going over what the devs have said over, I want to say, like pretty much like a week and a half since my last video. I have quite a bit of posters that you can see right over here. Quite a bit of stuff has been said. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see if there's any posts about when the beta is coming out, because new beta is supposed to come out soon, right? I don't know if it's going to be 1.2.5. I don't know which one's going to be, but also the move to live, as they stated, is supposed to come before November ends. And we are about 11 days away. I'm recording this on November 19th. We'll see what they say. We'll see if it comes. I'm waiting for it patiently. But, you know, 'tis what it is. We're going into the next week after tomorrow. Because it's like Sunday morning. But Saturday night, really, right now when I'm recording this. So, yeah. We'll see if that comes. But let's get to what they're saying, right? So first, we have a person saying, so is the beta coming out this week? And this was done on Monday, last Monday, and it already passed the week, so we already know the answer. But they said working towards it, but outstanding issues remain. That means that maybe we'll get it next week. You know, the week that starts on the 20th. We'll see. We'll see if we get it that week, and hopefully we get the move to live as well. I will be there. I'll make a video on it when it does come out. Don't you worry. I will let you know first. Next, we have a person asking, sorry for the pains, but I'm truly interested in knowing what issues you guys are tackling. I think this has to do with what this person said right over here, what that developer said. Community manager responds and says, as mentioned earlier, resolving all the fixes we identified during the tests. So this might also be about the move to live. Then we have another person saying, the impossible task, killing someone. What does that mean by that? What do you mean by that? Okay, we're going to ignore that. And then we have another player asking, new beta today or later this month? And the community manager responds with, not today. All right. You know what it is? You're going to get some people mad, man. Listen, they're going to get upset with you. They're going to be like, listen, this is too low of an answer for me. You know? All right, moving on. Next, we have a person asking, when new wanderers spawn into the game, they often have 3 across all attributes regardless of their nickname. Sometimes one of the attributes is plus or minus 1. Is this a known bug or intended? For example, the shield man spawned into my playthrough with all her attributes at 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, bunch of 3s. The community manager response says, hi, this is fixed internally, and the fix should roll out with the next beta hotfix. There it is. So they will not spawn like that anymore. They will spawn. What I expect is they're going to spawn more predominantly towards what they're supposed to be based towards. But if you guys did not know, and this is something that used to be a thing, but is no longer a thing after some recent patches. I forgot exactly what patch it was that included this change. But companions, they no longer, what's the best way to say it? Even though they have certain like last names, you know, certain like the Shield Maiden or whatever, right? The healer, the like all that stuff. They still spawn with random attributes, and sometimes the Shield Maiden might have like 200 one-handed, and sometimes they might have like 0 one-handed. Like it's very random now. It's a lot more random than it used to be. Before, it used to be like, oh, if this person is named this, or like the spice vendor, they're always going to have trade 125. Now that is not the case. It's a lot more randomized. The last name doesn't really do much it doesn't hold as much weight as it used to. But there's a lot more companions to choose from now, so it's like you could still find what you're looking for. It's just not like you can't go on YouTube and be like, what are the best companions? That doesn't exist anymore. Companions spawn randomly with random stats, and what might be good in your game might be absolute trash in another person's game because they might not spawn the same exact unit because it's all random. Next, but yeah, that should get fixed now. Maybe it will go back towards the way it was before. That'd be kind of cool. I can make another companion little guide, but we'll see how it goes with that change. Next, we have a person saying, not only this, can you tell me why these changes also apply to single player? Is it intended a bug? The patch notes put these changes in the multiplayer section. If it's intended, then it should be placed in the both section. Now, what is this person talking about? This person is talking about something that I'm going to go over in another whole video because we have a huge thread about it from the developers. He is talking about the changes to patch 1.2.5. And hold on, I have the link right over here. I think it's this one. Might be on the screen. Sorry about that. Here's the link. So here it is, the 1.2.4 beta balance changes. These are at first mostly just multiplayer changes, but this person found out that it's not only what's called multiplayer changes. This changed stuff in single player, like troop changes, weapon changes, damage changes. Pretty significant, right? And the community manager came out and said, you were right. Some of these changes apply to single player as well. We moved them into the both in the patch notes and the hotfix threads. This is one of them. There's a lot to go over here. And for that reason, we're going to go over that in a whole different video coming sometime this week. So I'm going to go and do a little deep dive and talk about everything being said here. The devs talk a lot here. And, well, not on the second page. Also on the second page, you can see there's so much. So much. This developer went crazy on this thread. We're going to go over it. Probably going to be like a very long video, but that's another video, okay? So kind of changes that already came that you might not know of. We're going to go over them. Next, we have Martrini. What does this word mean? Lionel. Marriages. Martial marriages helps to secure a dynasty where most heirs are female by making the children born from a marriage part of the mother's dynasty, and prevents game over if the succession gender law is strictly agnostic. So the women are in charge. Okay, fire. Should be an option at a higher coin cost. So these type of marriages should be an option at a higher coin cost, or through an option to marry the two without consent from the other clan leader. This person says, yeah, it's problematic if you have 3 daughters. What are we talking about here? But the community manager says, hi, this sounds interesting. We'll bring it up internally. Thanks for the suggestion. Brother, you guys know too much about like medieval stuff like that. I didn't know this was a thing. What is this? I never knew about this. Brother, I never got into like all those other games that were like all medieval. Like I played Warband and now I'm covering Bannerlord, but I never really dove into like the Crusader Kings and played that for years and stuff like that. Man, I was a Fallout head. I played Fallout like all my life. But yeah, I just learned what this means. We'll see if they implement it. That would be kind of cool. Sure, why not? New feature. I'm not mad about it. Then we have another thread called, should the siege defense bonus in auto-resolve battles be decreased for the player? Alright, quite a few patches ago, the devs made an adjustment to how the enemy AI calculated the strength of the player's troops by changing it to an AI perceiving the player's strength in half and readjust. This is true. What he's talking about is the enemy AI, so you can actually get into more fights with enemy AI. Whatever your number of troops are, whenever they see you, they don't actually see your number of troops. They see, like, for example, if you had 1,000 troops, they only see 750 or about that number, or 800. I don't know exactly how all that works, but they would see less than what you have, so they would kind of not always run away from you. So you would still get some fights that are in your favor, right? So he's asking about this right over here. But this is the thing that did happen. While these adjustments have been successful and the player experienced siege defenses, oh yes, this was also used to increase the number of siege defenses where you, the player, are defending the castle from an enemy that might be sieging it. Before, if the enemy wasn't winning drastically in the siege, they would just abandon the siege. But now the enemy will fight longer and you can experience being the defender. Yes. It also made auto-resolve for siege defenses too broken for the player. I'm suggesting the siege defense bonus for the player's party in auto-resolve battle should be decreased. Okay, so auto-resolve is kind of broken is what he's saying in this, okay? And then we have the community manager say, could you provide an example of a defensive siege was broken by auto-resolve in your opinion? Number of attackers versus defenders, army compositions. Okay. So we see Stat Gaming made a, I said Stat Gaming, Strat Gaming made a video on it. Cool. And then he responded by saying, the player responds by saying, "Oh, sorry, by broken I meant overpowered. As an auto-resolving siege engine can give the player a free win quite often because the AI is made to intentionally underestimate the player's party strength, so the player are more likely to experience siege defenses." Yes, sure. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then he says, the YouTuber demonstrates that he can win the unwinnable siege defense in 2 seconds by auto-resolving. This video is from a year ago to show the state of the 1.0 release. Okay. So it's still there. The problem's still there. The community manager response says, "We did, in the meantime, give archers a considerable siege defense bonus in auto-resolving. Could it be that you also have a bit higher archer ratio? Players often do, myself included." Okay, so he's saying this might not be a bug, but a feature, but it might not be a good feature. Is what the player is stating. I'm trying to read all this. So he's just saying that the auto-resolve bonus for players on the defense of a siege to be decreased, so they would be forced to fight the actual battle instead of just auto-resolving. It's pretty much what I'm getting, right? And then we have the community manager saying exactly what came to my mind. Wait. So the player says, "You might then respond by saying that this would effectively nerf the player's auto-resolve capabilities and make it unfair for the player if the enemy is more than 2.25x stronger than you." The community manager responds, says, "Exactly what came to my mind when the first time I read the OP. That being said, your feedback will be relayed to the relevant developers." So we might see a change, we might not, but there it is. It is raised to the developers. Next, can we ask for 2048 max battles? So we won't need to download mods for that. There it is. And the community manager responds, "The battle limit is already at 2k agents, but the UI displays 1k. That is the current number of troops that can be on the battlefield at once. There can be 1 mount for each troop. Feedback on expanding the battle size has been relayed internally. Nothing I can share at the moment, though." Okay, so maybe they're talking about it, thinking about it. But then again, as they came out before, they stated that like literally like less than 2% of player. It was something crazy. I think it was even less than 2%. Like, it was such a small percentage of players that can actually like go to the max like and actually play the game. It's a very small amount because obviously you require a very strong computer and that costs a lot of money. You know what I mean? But yeah. So not a lot of people are gonna be able to be affected by this anyways. But some players do want to see it without the mods. So yeah, the reason it was removed, if you don't know, because it used to be higher, is because people would choose it in the settings, and then they wouldn't realize, well, why doesn't my game run as good as everyone else's? Why is my game running so bad? Look at all my settings, they're on low, but they would keep that setting on a battle size that they just didn't understand how it really impacted their system, and therefore a lot of people were having issues with that. So then they made the change to make it lower, and also I'm pretty sure give you presets, because it used to be a slider. I don't know if I don't think it's a slider anymore, right? It's been a long time since I checked the options menu, but yeah. They did a lot of nerfs to it so people can have better, better time playing. Next, we have amiable commands in all game modes. This is a multiplayer suggestion for all my 10 players playing multiplayer. Just kidding. There's more people playing multiplayer. They just play in like I think like Discords and stuff like that, which is cool. Then we have a player saying, "Even though you don't have troops to command in most game modes, the commands still come with in-game shouts that would for allow some tactical coordination with teammates in a quick and atmospheric way." So he's asking for his commands that he does for the troops to also, like, in some way show your teammates, if you guys don't have mics, what you're trying to do. Then the community manager responds and says, "We do have shouts on the multiplayer menu. Did you mean suggest expanding those to include formation and other movement orders that can be heard when ordering AI troops. Yes, I think that's exactly what he means. I think he wants it the same time that he is ordering the formation to do something is the same time his character shouts something out, so the other players know, oh, he wants to attack, or he wants to defend, or he wants to go around this way, stuff like that. And then he goes, exactly, enable players to shout the commands that would usually give to the AI. I think some of these would be quite nice simultaneous. I can't read. I said simultaneously, but it's actually situationally. Jesus, I don't know what I saw in my head. Let me reread this. I think some of these could be quite nice situationally, and I don't see any decrement to it. That's a crazy word to use right there. Okay. And the community manager response says, okay, we'll bring it paternally. Thanks for the suggestion. And then he responds with thanks. There it is. That's cool. Why not? Then we have web server administration. I'll be honest with you, I'm out of my depth. But I decided to show this off because I have no idea, if this might be needed for someone. So what are we talking about? So the first player's, the OP says, there are a few things I'm trying to figure out how to do on the server that I'm running, but I can't find information for it. All right, let's go for it. So he answers every question. So the player asks, kick players, can this be done from the administration web panel? The community manager says, it should be possible, if I recall correctly, but it's also possible via the new in-game admin panel. There's a new one. There it is. Then the player asks, initiate a vote to kick players. Okay. And then the community manager responds by right-clicking on the player on the scoreboard. And then I'm pretty sure it has probably like a start a vote or something like that. Then a person saying, initiate a vote to change maps. And the community manager says, this isn't possible in a way you probably imagine. Once the current mission is over, and if you've added multiple maps to the pool, they'll get to vote on the available maps. Okay, once it's done, I'm guessing. And then fourth, move players from one team to another. And the community manager says this cannot be done natively. I don't know what natively means, but unfortunately, RIP, can't be done. All right, and then he says, I'd like to request number 4 as a future addition. I'm guessing switching players. And the community manager says, sure, we'll bring it up. Very glad you're enjoying the game. There it is. And I think that will do it for all of our, additions that's happened in the past week. Again, we're just talking about possible changes, stuff that's coming. And also, we're getting close to our deadline, man. Time's a ticking. Time is a ticking. But yeah, that will do it for me. I'm going to get to bed. It's a little bit late. But yeah. We'll see what happens next, and we'll see what is to come. You will hear it here first. So, come back and see if anything changed. Alrighty, boys. Appreciate all the support.